A win is a win is a win, and the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark go up against the Las Vegas Aces and last year's MVP, A'ja Wilson, and walk away with a W, 80-70. Sophie Cunningham has been hot to trot. Sophie Cunningham has been on fire.
What happens when the Indiana Fever lose their biggest star but still manage to take down A'ja Wilson's Las Vegas Aces? The answer might completely change how you see this team. While Caitlin Clark remained sidelined with an injury, watching from the bench and even getting visibly frustrated with the referees, her teammates were out on the court taking care of business. Kelsey Mitchell rose to the occasion, putting up 21 points when it mattered most. And Sophie Cunningham, she didn't just play well, she became the hottest player in the WNBA right now. This wasn't just a win. It was a loud, undeniable statement that shook the league to its core. So how did the Fever manage to pull off such a dominant victory? And what exactly did Sophie Cunningham do in this game that's got everyone buzzing? Drop a red-hot Sophie in the comments if you're fired up, because this one's worth it. Back in the W chat, fans could feel it. This was a gut-check kind of win. The energy was electric. And let's be real, those jerseys. Straight fire. Now, picture the scene. Your team is reeling from back-to-back losses to the New York Liberty, and your franchise superstar, Caitlin Clark, is in street clothes, nursing a groin injury. That was the exact situation facing the Indiana Fever as they returned to Gainbridge Fieldhouse on July 24th. The weight of those consecutive defeats was heavy. Everyone was wondering the same thing. Who are the Fever without Caitlin Clark? When asked about Clark's status, the update was cautious but hopeful. There was no set timeline for her return, but she had been focusing on rehab and recovery throughout the week. "We haven't really practiced since just before the All-Star break," said Coach Stephanie White. "It's been mostly rehab. Some shooting. She's been working closely with our athletic training staff while we prepare everyone else to step up." At that point, the Fever's 12-12 record only told half the story. The doubt surrounding them was overwhelming. Critics weren't just questioning their playoff viability anymore, they were essentially declaring the season over. Social media was ruthless, with some voices in sports media flat out saying the Fever were nothing without Clark. The message was harsh and simple. Remove Clark, and what's left is a team with no spark. As playoff seeding loomed large, every game felt like a must-win, and up next, a battle against the reigning back-to-back champions, the Las Vegas Aces. Led by the fierce and battle-tested A'ja Wilson, the Aces came into Indianapolis with a 12-11 record. But you wouldn't know it from their swagger. They carried themselves like they owned the league. This was the matchup they were waiting for. Steph White acknowledged how different the team dynamic becomes without Clark. "Our ball movement shifts. We run different sets. Caitlin has this gravitational pull not just because she's the top priority for every defense, but because she elevates everyone else when the ball is in her hands. Without her, we're running more off-ball actions and fewer plays centered around her playmaking." For Coach White, this moment was about more than just one game. It was about defining the team's identity. Could they hold their own against elite competition, or were they just a team built around one superstar? White knew the mental battle was as important as the physical one. "It's a relief knowing there's no further damage to Caitlin's injury," she said. "But we have to be patient. We can't afford mental lapses, not against great teams. They will bury you in those moments." This game was about maintaining focus, riding out the ups and downs, and staying mentally neutral. "We can't afford to play scared or conservative." Meanwhile, the Aces were radiating confidence, maybe even a little arrogance. Their body language during warm-ups said it all. A'ja Wilson and her Olympic-level teammates probably had this game circled on their calendar the moment Clark was ruled out. They saw an opening, a golden opportunity to prove what many suspected, that the Fever were little more than a one-woman show. Wilson, who has dealt with her own frustrations and comparisons to Clark over the past 2 seasons, finally had her moment to remind everyone who the real MVP was. The Aces weren't just aiming for a win. They wanted to send a message that rings matter more than hype. But this is where the narrative flipped entirely. Because sometimes, when a team gets completely written off, it unleashes something powerful. The Fever took all that dowel, the disrespect, and turned it into fuel. What was once considered their greatest liability became their most valuable weapon. And what happened next? It sent a shockwave through the entire WNBA, because champions aren't born when everything is smooth. They're forged in the fire of adversity. And that's exactly what Coach White drove home in the post-game locker room. "We answered their runs today," she told the team. "We had each other's backs. When it looked like they were making a comeback, we shut it down. That kind of consistency, we've got to build on that. I'm so proud of you all. You earned that win." Then came the rallying cry, 1, 2, 3 I'd rather. When your team needs a hero, sometimes it's the quiet ones who rise. And for Indiana, Kelsey Mitchell stepped into that role. All season, she had been under fire for inconsistent performances. Critics claim she vanished in big moments, and the stats seemed to support it. One night she'd go off for 20, the next she'd disappear. With a poor shooting performance, early in the matchup against the Aces, those concerns looked valid. Mitchell missed her first few shots and appeared completely out of sync. You could see the frustration written all over her face. The crowd could feel it too. Without Clark's signature court vision and playmaking, the offense was stumbling. Every missed shot felt heavier. Through 3 quarters, Mitchell was just 4-for-19 from the field, the kind of stat line that usually gets you benched. But Coach White wasn't about to give up on her. During a timeout, she pulled Mitchell aside and gave her a simple but powerful message. Let it fly. It's going to fall. That small gesture hit Mitchell right in the heart. White also coached her on staying balanced on drives to create better reads and finish stronger. Then something shifted. Mitchell's teammates rallied around her, setting better screens, creating space, and giving her the confidence to find her rhythm. And that's exactly what happened. She started splashing shots from deep, breaking down defenders with her speed, and finishing tough plays at the rim. Suddenly, Mitchell was the spark that Fever needed. In the fourth quarter, when the game was on the line, Mitchell came alive. She scored 9 points in that final stretch and went 4 for 5 in the most crucial minutes. She also racked up 4 assists, showing she could lead, not just with scoring, but with playmaking too. Her connection with teammates like Aaliyah Boston led to highlight-worthy moments. She finished the night with 21 points and silenced every critic who doubted her ability to step up in clutch time. It wasn't just about filling in for Clark, it was about becoming the leader this team needed, and the Fever didn't just win because of Mitchell. The entire offense clicked, putting up 84 points despite missing their star. Sophie Cunningham, in particular, was on fire. She knocked down 5 3-pointers and showed why she's become the league's most dangerous shooter. Entering the game, she was already on a hot streak, averaging nearly 14 points and making 3 triples per game over the last 6 outings. But this game confirmed it. Cunningham is a legitimate threat every time she steps on the court. When asked why Sophie was starting again, the coaching staff didn't hesitate. She brings energy, shooting, and smart decision-making. And against the Aces, she delivered exactly that. While everyone was focused on who would replace Caitlin Clark's scoring, Cunningham quietly made it clear. She's not just a role player anymore. She's a weapon, and the Fever are far from finished.